Hello everybody and welcome to the 5th episode in this art series, I don't even know what to call it anymore, Get Good series. This time it probably looks different because I have the full canvas this time. Usually when I'm drawing, I'll keep it like this, but for this video I think it's really important to have all of these tabs here. Yes, to start off, we have this drawing, official from Genshin Impact, uninspired, yeah, but here we go. For this time, I wanted to start off with like my whole process instead. So we're gonna start off at the very beginning. What I usually do, my sketch. First issue with my drawings that I usually find is that it is too light. I'm very light with the pencil or the pen, so it's very hard to see. So what I usually like to do is I duplicate it. If it's still too light, you go again. Duplicate it again, and then you get a thicker and like easier to see sketch. And if you still need more, you go here. This is like Clip Studio's secret sauce. Filter, correction, and adjust line width. Narrow, if you want to learn more narrow, you go here and you start adjusting it. Or if you want it to be a bit thicker, I like around 2 or 1, you just go like that. And you can look at how big of a difference it makes. So after that, we have this. Here's your sketch. You can kind of see I worked on it a bit more. Off-screen sketch. And usually, like when I start rendering, this is what I do. I'll do a flat, where it's flat. You just want the outside area, and then you invert it with the invert tool, like Control I. I don't know what yours is on, but Control I, and then you start working. And then from here, I'll do the lighting. So I do the lighting in white. You just grab white, make a clipping mask layer, and then you just start doing the lighting. You should choose a direction that you want the thing to be in. So like here I wanted it in this corner, going in this direction, and I wanted it to highlight these areas over here, and like the cape, and also the hair, and a little bit over here with the nose. Let's focus on the face again. So that's what I did over here. Over here you can see colors. When I pick these colors, I usually just like, I grab a reference from Genshin Impact, like the official Genshin Impact. Right here, go right in, and you color pick, because you're lazy. So you color pick, and then you start shading with it for the base colors, or you start putting down the base colors with it. So that's that. After I do this, I'll put in like a blush, and then for the line art, I usually go for like a kind of darkish brown, and then I'll add a soft light layer with like the surrounding colors just to give it like a softer look. So like this yellow, I would go over here and I would kind of color it in a bit. After that, I'll paint in any missing details or anything that I want for the composition, at least on the sketch. And then for like Genshin characters, there's also like a lot of details and accessories, right? So I use this site called gamesfashionarchive.net, and you just click here, Genshin Impact or any other game if you can see one that you enjoy. You know, but you can also go in game, but I find that in game like the lighting is kind of off, or like it changes if depending on the scene, so maybe you would want that. But if here you can zoom in, you can look at the back, you can look at all the textures here, like you can see like the fishnets and like a little cross. You can even change the different things if you want. So like if you're struggling with like just the vision, there you go. Next, we're gonna talk about some very important stuff. Okay, this is like what you need to do if you wanna fix your colors. So for me, I find that I choose colors that are way too bright. So what I need to do is I need to use adjustment curves. Right over here, you can see all 3 of them, but if you're using Clip Studio, it'd be right over here. In layer, new correction layer, and here, right over here. Tone curve, color balance, they're in different locations depending on the program, but most programs should have these ones. But yeah, so this one, gradient map. You just choose. If you don't like it, like let's up this a bit. This is a gradient map. If you want to go for like this one, which is what I chose, you just go around and you kind of click around. You can download these from the asset store or find them online. And with these, like this one's pretty cool too. You can just choose one, and then it changes the way it looks a little bit. Like This one's more red here, and then instead of being more brown, it's more purple. Over here is a color balance, I think, yeah. With this, it's kind of dumb, but usually when I do this, I eyeball it, guys. You just go here. Does it look good to you? No? You go back. Does it look good to you? No? You go back. So I just keep going like this. Kind of like this color. This one, I like this one. You understand what I mean, right? Just back and forth. You see which ones you like. And there's your color balance. More saturated, more bright, you can do whatever you want as long as it looks cool to you. I feel like for most of the time when you choose colors, you just want to choose something that appeals to you. And then over here, probably the most important one, tone curves. You're like brand new to tone curves, I'll show you a little demo. So if you want your white to be, or if you want your white to be gray, you would go like this. Right. If you want black to be gray, you'd go up like this. There. This is now all gray. So if you want to change your white or your highlights to be a bit brighter, you'd push this up and move this down. And if you wanted your shadows to be not as dark, let's say there's a lot of black on your scene and you don't really like that, you would move this up a bit. Not as harsh. That's like the basics of tone curves. I think really you should just like open up a canvas of a drawing that you like and mess around with your own drawings to see. So the values are like here. This area is light. This one is gray, and this one is like your blacks and stuff. So that's how you use tone curves. And over here, let's say I wanted it to be darker. I'll push this down and this down. Now this area is darker and this area is not. Let's say I want it to be brighter. Like I wanted more highlight. I go like that. But you know, too much is no good. You want to keep it very balanced. That's why it's also very important to check your values. This is what you need to do. Just make a new layer, change it to color, saturation, or hue. And then I gotta name my layers. I don't like not naming them. And you choose any of the colors over here, white, gray, black, and you just fill in the thing. So let's just put a white. It'll probably be easier. There you go. So your values. So you see this is dark, this is light, and these are your grays over here. So after I finish with this one, I'll have this, right? This is your base, and then from here, this is the rough part. You're gonna want to duplicate it, merge it, and then you're gonna start rendering, or start cleaning, or start painting, whatever you prefer. So if I wanted to change something, I would just liquefy. If the face was too big, I would make it smaller, like this. You just go with the pinch tool. There you go, smaller. Also, when you want to draw, you should also zoom out so you see clearly. So like over here, you can see it very clearly. So you go from here and then you start painting. The most painful part, okay? For me, I don't really like line art, so I never do line art. Never like line art, I'm never gonna do it. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna start cleaning. And this just takes a lot of time. You're gonna start cleaning, getting rid of stuff that you don't want with your sketch, and moving stuff around, liquefying, transforming, and doing anything you need to do to get it to work. And then after you're done, this is what it will look like. Like this. I also added a small background. And then I just have like feathers and stuff and ribbons just to extra details. So you can see this is like the base, and then you just keep rendering. So this is another one, and then you go again until you're done. And this just takes practice, this takes work. For me, this is like the best way to do it. I have so many layers. I just keep adding more layers. I don't like line art. I don't like doing line art. I don't like doing the other stuff. But this is what works for me. Check your values, same thing. I have it on top. It's always good to have this one at the top, so you can always see if you're drawing, like if you're coloring. Like you don't want something that like this just to show off. Feels like this. Oh, you can't see anything. It's too bright. Over here, you can't see anything. It's too dark. So you want to balance it to be what you want. That's why tone curves are so good. You can do it in grayscale, you can do it with color, you can do whatever. That's what you want to try. So like if I saw this, I'd be like, maybe this is cool. You know, your values. Maybe lower it. Next, this one. These are hand practices. And for the hands, I like breaking it down into shapes. So this one is a square. Like, for me, this is the simplest thing to do. You just break it into shapes. So this, the bottom half, or like where your palm and like your hand is, like a little square like this. For the fingers, it's just like 3 joints. 1, 2, 3 on all of these. 1 for the tip, the mid, and then the end. You can even simplify even more. You can do 2. For anime, you'll see this more often, but like not for realistic drawings. Only for like anime, you'll see it broken down into 2. So this is like the first joint, and then you'll see these 2 joints connected. Like that. You always gotta study whatever you want to get better at. So for me, my hands, you know, not the best. So I'm trying to get better at them. This time, it's hands. Maybe next week I'll work on backgrounds again. Who knows? But yeah, hands. That's it. Next drawing. Feet. Yeah. Next one. No. Let's talk. For this one, it's just feet again. For the feet, I found that breaking it down into this type of shape works best for me. So you kind of have like the foot, and then you can have this, and over here, you kind of have the toes in this one block, and then you have this, and it's like, I don't know, a heel or something. I don't know these terms. This is what I found to be the best way to break it down for myself. You can try other methods. You can just do whatever you need to. Like whatever method you like, you should just stick with it. Whatever works for you, you should stick with it. So I just have a bunch of them. These are turning ones. Over here, skirts. I'm always trying to work on my clothing folds because I'm always trying to get better at clothing folds. So you can just see. Over here, I did a bunch of thumbnails. Over here, a lot of croquis and figure studies. Croquis, figure studies, gestures, you always gotta do these. When I do these, it's usually just for general practice, for warm-up. But like if you're first starting out, you're gonna want to do a lot of these. You can just look up a couple sites. I think they're like, if I don't know if I can remember off the top of my head, but I'll try to put them on screen right now. So you'll go on these sites. Basically, you're gonna try to draw as fast as you can. You're gonna do as many of these as possible to get used to drawing like humans. If you draw anime, I know you guys, you don't want to draw humans. You want to skip right to the fun part. You're gonna want to not draw these figures. You're not gonna want to learn anatomy, but trust me, it will make a difference, and you will get better if you do these. Maybe not at the start, but when you start wanting to get better, you're gonna want to start learning some anatomy. More dynamic poses, I think. Like over here, I find this one interesting. You can also go on Pinterest too. Pinterest is another good site. Just go on Pinterest and just search up, like, you can search up anything to get what you want. Next, clothing folds. Alright, same thing as before. You go on Pinterest, you start looking at them, and then you just, usually I'll have like the images on like Pureref, another program I like to use, and I just put it side by side and I'll try to draw it, and like I try to pay attention to the clothing folds. I try to pay attention to the way the shapes are formed depending on the folds, and I try to copy it, study it as best as I can. So you have a bunch over here. You can kind of see it's the same folds over here. It's like this loop over here, and at the bottom too. So you'll see here like a fold, a fold, a fold. You probably don't want that many, but there, like easy, simple. Over here, triangle. So simple, just triangle and these loops. And then that's like 90% of what I do for these clothing folds. Over here, kind of went back to when I started drawing figures. I just did gesture drawings. There's so many different parts for anatomy that you don't really realize until you start doing it. Over here, with this, you want the landmarks like halfway from the chin to the top. You have the ear, and then like the top of the ear, and then over here to here, it's also halfway. You have like the ear. and it works in like all angles, so keep this in mind. Keep it like if you want to have proportions. I know anime can be a little bit different, but you should know the basic one too. Like moe, like more moe characters, they'll kind of be lower. The eyes will be lower and like the ears will be lower and the head would be bigger. So over here and over here, it's like I kind of mixed the figures where I had the face and then I had the like my face and I mixed it with the one in like the book. And over here you got the hips and the pelvis, and then you got the rib cage again. A bunch of different angles. I found that the box kind of does help, and it makes it easier to draw. Like it helps with drawing the back, and then it also makes placing the legs really easy, because you can just find a center point, which is like right there, and then you'll know that right there, that's where like your thighs would start. So you can just go like that. Over here, same thing, more poses. This is combining the top and the bottom with the pelvis. Over here is an arm. You can kind of see this is where your elbow would be, and then it kind of extends a little bit to your hand. Over here, more arms, more muscles, breaking it down. More arms. This one's with more dynamic pose with it going out. These are just hands. Same thing. You break it down into like this kind of square, and then you start doing the things. Fingers are just cylinders. So if you can draw a cylinder, you'll be able to draw fingers. And then at the end, it's kind of like a pointed cylinder. Over here, I tried more foreshortenings. This is it. This is me practicing those poses again. This time I went on Pinterest again. You kind of see I tried doing more dynamic, tried doing more foreshortening like this hand. You can kind of see it coming out towards you. Over here, I did more poses. With more foreshortening, you kind of see over here, like it has the shape V. I just look at photos and I study from that. I'm not really good at foreshortening, so I find it's best to just search up photos and references. I can't really do it off the top of my head. Over here, I did head turns, and this time I tried making them a bit more dynamic. So you can kind of see with the shoulder, I tried changing it up. You want to have the shoulder. If you have it just like straight on, it's kind of look kind of dull. So you always want to change it up. And I try moving the hands around a bit. And then after you're done this, like you don't want to just stop there, right? You do the sketches. These are my sketches. When I do sketches, I break them down into 3 kind of layers. I like doing 3 layers. This isn't the original film, but I like breaking down the hair into 1 layer. And then I like doing the face and like other details in another. And then the clothes I'll do in a 3rd layer. So like usually I work on the face first, I work on the hair, and I'll work on the clothes. So 1, 2, 3, that's my system. So this would be face, hair, clothes. For this one, if you have like a sketch or something that you really like, you can just keep going on and working on it. This is the one I took, and you can see I flipped it too. And then for this drawing, I just use 1 brush or just 1 color. I just use this one brush. It's the one I use like all the time. It's just my favorite brush. I just always use it. Changes depending on your pressure. For this watercolor kind of look, you go like that. And then over here, like this. Really quick and simple. I feel like even though it's so simplistic, I think it looks really nice. That was it. Oh, I can't forget this, the blush. That's all you need. That's all you needed to do, and what, it took maybe 20 seconds or something, and you're done. If you want to add some extra stuff, you can also put it around. This one, I did thumbnail like background sketches, so I just looked at some anime drawings I like, and like some drawings from like or some photos from Unsplash. You know, I've been trying to do them for a while now, but for backgrounds, it's just something you kind of gotta practice. And over here, same feel. Finally, we have this drawing. God, I check my values at the end. You gotta check them, make sure they are nice looking. I like trying to direct everything to the face, so I wanted everything to be directed in this area. This area. you want the viewers to look here. So everywhere else is like blurred or has like a RGB effect, but at the face, at the focal point, this is where you don't touch, you erase it. If you can see here, I also have a little noise. So everything is right here, focused on the face. Exactly what you want. You check your values just like this, and then I usually do a bunch of filters so you can see here. Gradient map, tone curve, RGB, and here. Usually when I'm drawing, I'm like, I don't know what to do. I'm always like wishy-washy. I'm like, oh, do I want to frame? Do I not? You know, you're always trying to change it and trying to see what you like the best. So I always just click on and off, see if I like it. For this one, I was like, I kind of liked it, but I didn't like it enough. I found like the white had a way better contrast with this and made it look better. Over here, you can see my sketches. My sketches are really rough. So even you can tell even now, like, oh, the face is too big. Just liquefy that. Bam. Done. I don't want to work more. Just liquefy it. My sketches are ugly anyway. Just liquefy it. For the base, you guys gotta mentally prepare yourselves. This is gonna spook you guys. Okay guys, this is what my base looked like before I started rendering. So maybe on screen or something I'll show you a time lapse of what happens in this phase. But basically I just do the soft colors, I duplicate it, and then I go from there. Honestly, it's the same as the other drawing, the official drawing that I did, but I worked and I did a lot more rendering. So you can kind of see over here. With this, I did a little, you can kind of see I worked on the background, but that's probably not important. The main focus is the character, right? Probably the main focus for you, what you guys want to learn too. So this is what, let's just start like this. This is what my character looked like, and then you just keep layering things on and on until that's just how it kind of works. As if you paint, I feel like this one is also a very important layer. Just strands. Like right here it looks empty, over here you can see more strand. And then I didn't like the colors, so you can kind of see the colors over here. Like I think it's too purple or too bluish. So bam, you edit it. And you add a bunch of curves and stuff. Curves, color balance, overlay. That's like the go-to, and then more painting on top. Everything is just like you layer it on top of each other when you paint. There's a very good video by Takaciao on this. I found that it really helped. Takaciao is like amazing, and she has English subtitles too, so even if you don't know Japanese, you can watch along and learn from her. Over here, filters. You can see here, I put a blur here, and I'm making you focus on the face. So that's basically it. I always say like, oh, that's what I did for this week, but most of the time it's 2 weeks, right? I never upload one video a week. I upload one video every other week. But yeah, that's all I did for these 2 weeks. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you again in another video. Bye bye. Bye bye. This is it, right? This is it!